All right. Mm, mm. Okay, so enums. We were wondering, like, you have a constructor for the enums, and you have like every enum has a parameter here, like well, not parameter, it's like a field. Okay, yeah, so enums have a field and a constructor, but enums cannot be instantiated. You cannot create a new enum instance and you can't just go like this. It gives you an error. It says enum types cannot be instantiated. However, here it does, it has a constructor and everything. So the flow of an enum, it goes like this. So the flow of an enum, it goes like this is first. See these are the parameters. It even says here day name. So these are the parameters. So the first thing that happens when you create an enum object, as you can see here, you instantly have to give it a value. Like here, you do create a day, day.Sunday. Day my day is equal to day.Sunday. So that means this enum it's Sunday, it's chosen. So after Sunday is chosen, they realize that the value of the parameter in Sunday is this string Sunday, and it then gets sent to the constructor. This is number two. This then gets sent to the constructor, and constructor sees, okay, it takes a parameter day name, which is this day name Sunday. It takes that parameter and it assigns the parameter to that instance of the enum and that field, so day name. So this is number three. So I know right now it might look confusing, but just bear with me. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right? And you have this. So we create a new enum. Day, my day is equal to day the Sunday. We can even put it there. So this means first it chooses, okay, it's Sunday. It passes in this parameter into the constructor, and this constructor assigns this to the field. So if we do, for example, print out my day dot day name, now we can access it. We can access it through that specific field name, day name. We can do another thing, which is mood. What is the mood? Oh, by the way, I think we can just make it private and have a getter for it. So we'll make another one, private string day mood. And for all of them, we'll do like Sunday is boring. Nobody likes Sundays because you have to go to class. So Sunday is boring. Monday is, you know what? For me, every day is boring. Besides the last ones. So Sunday boring, Monday boring, Tuesday boring, Wednesday boring, Thursday boring. Well, Friday and Saturday I don't have classes, so interesting. And I know what you're saying. Why am I repeating stuff? I should use a variable, but it could be different things. I'm just using the same thing because why not? So for each enum value, there are two values now, like two constructor values. And to fix this error, we just go here and we do string day mode. And here we assign it to this dot. Boom, that's it. I hope now you know the how enums work internally, and then we can also generate getters and setters. Well, let's just put getters because they're both supposed to be, you know. Well, we can make them final, by the way. They're usually final because they're not supposed to be changed. So they're usually final because they're assigned now and they never change again. Each enum value has only one. If they weren't final, people could change them and it could mess up the whole system. And we have getters. So myday.getDayName, and you can also print out myday.getDayMode. And it's going to probably pose myday.getDayName. It will print out uh, Sunday with a lowercase body, so you know it's using the variable. And get their mood. It was boring. Let's see. Yep, Sunday boring. So that's how enum variables and also enum. This is an enum method. So you know enums can have their own methods. In fact, you could have put alt insert toString, and you know what? I'll show you how to do the toString method right here. So the specification by the professor, it tells you create a toString method that does something. In our case, we'll just give day name plus day mode. So we can have, well, no. Hmm. Now, if we go here and we try to print out my day, Sunday, boom, it has a toString method, right? Right, ready to go. Okay. So, does anybody have any questions so far with this, the enum thing? Because I think I went a bit fast. So, in chat, you can type anything in the chat. I'll give you like 10 seconds to ask. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. No, Prakash, you know what? Now I'm going to wait 10 more seconds just because you said that. 5, 4, 3. Anybody else? Okay. All right, we'll move on. So that's enums. Let me see the other requirements. So we can do enums now. Okay, the one last thing we must tackle before we go on to finally solving the problems is the different types of nesting we'll be doing. So we have four types of nesting. So nesting literally just means, and I know the experienced people here are going to roll their eyes, it's too easy. But just to be safe, I'm going to explain it. Nesting is you have one class, right? Well, nesting can be used for loops, it can be used for if statements, it can be used for classes, it can be used for, I think even enums. You can have an enum in an enum, I think. Well, I'm not sure. But anyway, nesting is like this, just one inside the other. So if you want to have, hmm, well, the main ways to nest classes, let's see, let me pull up the example that does that here. So you can choose between the following options to nest a class. You have defined a class as a top level one in the original source code. So what does that mean? A top level class. So as you know, classes or literally anything in programming has scopes, right? So suppose you have this class file, class file, and different two different top level classes means class one, class two, like that. Well, class three. These are three different top level classes, which means they're at the same level of nesting. So in Java, there is a limitation. Only one of these can be public. The other ones are private by default. So only one public, yeah, only one public top level class. So when they mean you can keep the class as a top level in the original source code, it means normally it's used as is one top level class, for example, car, and you have a comparator class in there as well to help. So you have a comparator, car comparator. Both of them are top level, but the reason it's allowed is because car is public and car comparator is not. So that's number one, declaring the class as a top level class. Right, so what's the second option? Is as a nested class inside your original class. So nested just means you have this class and you have, for example, car, and you have a nested class inside car, which is car comparator. Nested static just means it's static, as explained in the previous video. Static means it belongs to the object, it belongs to the class instead of to each object. And that avoids this class being copied again and again and again for every instance of class, every instance of car. Now, the last one is the interesting one. What is an anonymous class? And this is pretty important for the exam because the professor also understands if you guys had the choice, everybody would just do basic nesting. So they actually ask you to do, an anonymous class. So before I explain what an anonymous class is, I need to tell you guys what an abstract method is. Otherwise, you're going to mess it up. So what is an abstract method? You know interfaces, right? Let me just So you already know interfaces. You know that interfaces have a method that you're supposed to implement. For example, here, if a card implements comparable, it automatically gives you an error. It says card must either be declared abstract or implement abstract method compare to. So we implement compare to, and it goes away. So you can actually go to the declaration of comparable, and you can see interface, it has a method compare to. And this method does not have a body, like see, it doesn't have brackets in front of it, which means it's an abstract method. So abstract means that it has to be implemented, and not only interfaces have abstract methods. I'll give a real quick example because this is important in the context of Java, not just this test. Suppose you have one class animal, and how do I put it? Okay, animals can die, so it has a field, uh, private string name, and it has a method public void dies. And when an animal dies, it makes like this dot name plus has tragically died. Let me just close that. Has tragically died. So it has a name and a dies method. Now we want its child classes to all have a unique make sound class because different animals make different sounds. Cows go moo, cats go meow, and dogs go bark bark. So we want to make it basically an abstract method, which means any class that extends animal needs to implement that method. Otherwise, it's just not going to go through. So the way we do it is we say abstract. Well, let me try doing it the normal way first. So it's make noise is a void because it doesn't return anything, it just makes a sound. Void make sound. Doesn't take any parameters. But the important thing is here, instead of giving it a method body, we're not going to give it anything. We're just going to terminate it with a semicolon. So it's going to give us an error. Missing method body. Either you give it a body or you declare it as abstract. So in our case, we actually want to show how abstract methods work. So we do abstract. So it's an abstract method now. Now the error is the class isn't abstract. So we're just going to go here, abstract public class. Boom. Now animal is an abstract class. This means two things. One, just like an interface, you cannot. Uh, so abstract classes are meant to be extended. So if I try to make an instance of animal, see, it automatically tries to do it. I don't want it. I just want a new animal. Abstract class cannot be instantiated. Why can it not be instantiated? Because it's an abstract class. And why can't an abstract class be instantiated? Because its behavior is not complete. So because this class has one abstract method, we can create it in what is called, well, it doesn't have to be just one abstract method, but I'll give you an example. Okay, now people who are zoning out right now, this is your time to focus because this is relevant to the exam. So animal, right? How do we create an anonymous class? We create new animal. You can see it doesn't let me use an animal constructor. It automatically creates brackets, well, braces, and it offers to override the abstract method it has. So it requires you to override make sound, and we'll just make it say meow. And at the end, you put semicolons. You make another animal, you make dog, new animal, and this time. So why is it important for the exam? Because the comparator interface is, it's called a functional interface in Java, which means it has only one abstract method. So since it has only one abstract method, you can make an anonymous comparator. To give an example, we have cars, right? This car stuff. I'll remove comparable. Remove the comparator and this and this. Okay, so we want to make a comparator anonymously. We can do that by doing comparator. What type is it? It's car, because it compares cars. Car comparator is equal to new comparator. So if you want to see in slow motion what I did there, new comparator, car, and it will help you out with this. You double click like this. Now you can generate it all instead of doing it how I'm doing this one. New comparator, boom, you get everything done. So it's offering you to override the abstract method in the car, in the comparator class, and you give it some custom logic. Oh, what custom logic? It can be advanced. It can be like, compare to method. You can go like, okay, is number plate is equal to the second one, then return it. Is the color the same? But I'm just going to do something simple. I'm just going to do o1 dot get license plate dot compare to o2 dot get license plate. Simple. Now, this is called an anonymous implementation because this implementation cannot be reused. It's only this object that has this definition. Now, we could use it. We can go like, now this is also relevant to the exam. We create an array. Let's see. Uh, Real quick. Let me just create three cars. Car one is equal to new car A colors. So, star, star 2, we will do new star, license plate is BBB, color is red, star, star 3, we will do BBB, color is nice. Okay, now I create a new star array. I think we're allowed to use an array list, right? We don't have to use Google arrays. No, arrays, that's all. Okay, then we'll do that. Wait, am I dreaming or okay, I'll just manually set an array. Well, it was something. Let me just search it up. All right, I can do this. Car one, car two, car two. So I have an array of cars. Now this is where the exam thing happens. So we have arrays dot sort, and what does it take? See here, it says range from what index, range until range to which index, and then a comparator. So it takes a comparator. So what they mean, you'll notice here in the exam specifications in the comparator, you can see that you can implement the comparator class as an anonymous one inside your main method. So main method is this method. And so first you do, okay, we want to start sorting from 0. We want to go until length. Well, we can do the car sort length. And we need to give it a comparator, which is car comparator. Car comparator. Mm, Killing the example code. Oh, first we have to also give the array itself. The array is cars. Okay, now it works. The array from index to index, and we give it a comparator. And then let's try to print out the values. So for, I wonder if cars have a toString. I'll just create a simple automated toString method. And now I'll just do for car star in cars print car. Now it should sort them. Huh? Oh yeah, I didn't do the whole thing. What else? See, it automatically sorts them out. Even, okay, suppose I put two first, then I put one, and then I put the car number three. It should still be sorted. C, A, B, C. Even though cars are not comparable, it does not implement the comparable method. It doesn't even have a compare to uh, method overloaded, not overloaded, overridden. And yet we still get it all. Another thing that what he did in the code is uh, instead of implementing this logic here in a different variable, see here it expects a comparator. You can create a new comparator right here, and it will offer you as well new comparator that compares cars. You double click it, and it will implement the whole thing right here, and you just return O1 dot get license plate dot compare it to O2 dot get license plate, and that's it. It's still gonna work. Check it out. Boom. AABBCC. So that's I covered anonymous classes right here. Now the other nesting types. Oh, the beginning will end in 10 minutes. Okay, until then I think I can cover the other nesting types, and then the third class will be solving the problems. So you can define the class as a top level one in the original source code. So a top level class means like here we have car, right? And we make a car comparator. We just put it here, class car comparator implements comparator car. That's it. So this is a top level nesting. Define the class as a nested one inside your original class. Okay, here inside the original class. Let's go here under the constructor. Under private class car comparator implements comparator of car. So implement methods comparator. That's it. That's nested inside your original class. The third way you could do it is define the class as a static nested one inside your original class, which means you just go private static. And then normally what you do is you create an instance of it here. You call it like private static car comparator, new car comparator. And you can also make it final. It's normally private static final. Because it's a static class, it belongs to the object. You just do that, car comparator. And then you can just access it like this. Well, you have to make it public. Like so. Let me just confirm one thing. Okay, so you can just have it as a private nested static class. My personal preference is an anonymous class because it's just so easy. You can IntelliJ does all the work for you. So just in case this is private static final, and we'll cover it in the solving the problems as well. So define the class as an anonymous one. You already know it. So let me see how much time we have for this meeting. Oh, there's a comment from Ziad. Car comparator dot compare. What do you mean by that? Car comparator dot compare. Yeah, sorry about that. For some reason, I didn't get any notification. But yeah, if there's no questions, then I'll end this meeting so that we can have a fresh new one that's 40 minutes, and then we can start solving the test problems. So see you in the next one.